In this video, we're going to take a closer look at how menus work on your Uncanny LP site. And if you remember from a previous video, we did briefly introduce the difference between the signed in experience versus the signed out experience. So we're able to control menus in that way based on signed in status. There are also several menus on your Uncanny LP site, and you can add more. Menus are a great way, for example, of incorporating a dynamic list of links to different pages. Perhaps that's in a widget or something like that. That's a little more advanced, but there are a lot of different ways that you can use menus. So for any kind of menu editing, we'll go to the back end, so the WordPress dashboard of your Uncanny LP site. And within that, again, I'm on a site that is currently running everything, so what you see on the left side may be a little different on your site. If I go to Design and then Menus, so under Design, it's really anything related to the overall look and feel of your site, including menus and widgets and things like that. So a lot of the site-wide elements. Now, before I get into what this menu is, let's talk about some of the sections that are on this page. At the top here, we're selecting a menu to edit. And if you see something in brackets, that means that it's assigned to a location in the theme. So I'll talk about those in a second too. Over on the left side, these are the type of menu entries that you can include. So without getting into more detail and drilling down into each one, basically some are WordPress and some are added by Uncanny LP features. So we can choose pages to add to the menu. So we can search for them here, choose the most recent one, view all the pages. We can look at posts. So these are things that would normally be on the blog. You can add custom links. So this can be any kind of link that you want. It can be on the site, it can be off the site, anything you want as long as it can be accessed by URL, then you can add it this way. And then we have some things around categories and events, and then we have some of ours. If depending on the modules you have turned on in your Uncanny Toolkit settings, this particular one is for the login, logout links. It makes those available. So over on the right here then, we have the structure for the current menu. So you can see I have main menu selected. The menu name is main menu here. Now down below here, this is very important. We have where do we want this menu to show up in the theme. So before I go any further, let's take a look at what these locations are. And right now, when you get Uncanny LP out of the box, we're only using the primary menu and secondary menu. Both are in the header. So on the site, this is the primary menu here, and this is the secondary menu. So those are the theme locations, and I'll go into each of them. So main menu, this is primary menu. You can see we've got events, store, sample course, my courses, forums, and blog. So if I go back here, you can see events, store, and then sample course is missing. Instead, we've got my courses, forums, and blog. So there's a deviation there. If I expand that, let's take a look here. You can see that it's because we've defined it so that it's accessible to logged out users only. Now remember, we have some customizations turned on. So let me go back, and just so you're clear on how this is set up, I'm going to open the Tools menu. I need to open that in a new tab just so I can switch back and forth really easily. So Uncanny Toolkit, the reason that I can choose that, just in case you're looking at menus and you come back to it later and you're realizing you're not seeing the option to turn menus on and off based on signed in state. So it's because you need to make sure you are choosing menu item visibility. So that module, this module has to be turned on. That's what allows us to control menus by signed in state. So if I switch back here now, you can see this is only visible to logged out users, and if I go to here, then my courses is only shown to logged in users. So that's how that works, and we can restrict the experience that way. So anything you want included in the menu, you can make it for logged out users, logged in users, or both. It's really up to you. If I switch quickly to the secondary menu, This is again the one that's at the top of the page. So the one that's up here, right below the admin bar if you're signed in as an administrator. So this is where we have direct links to some of the pages, in this case, that apply to e-commerce. So this is linked to the My Account page, which is tied to having the e-commerce module turned on. You can see down here, we've got some Uncanny Toolkit links. So these are the ones that were included here. And if I scroll down, you can see that this menu is set for the secondary menu. Now, if you want to make any changes, let me go back to the main menu so you can see how that works. If you want to make any changes, let's say that you've created a new page. In this case, let's go with a sample contact us page. Maybe you need a contact page in here. So I'm going to click on that to choose it, and then I click on Add to Menu. And by doing that, it adds it to the bottom of the current menu that I selected. Now, let me show you what happens when I save this and then go to the front end. So let's go back out here, and remember, I didn't make any selection for logged in or logged out, so it's going to show for everyone. So this is sample contact us page. That is the page, and if I click that, it would take me to a sample contact page because it's an existing page. That is how we can see the change updated immediately. And so what that did is it added it as an entry after blog. Maybe instead of that, we want it nested under blog. So if I move it under blog here, and then go back to the home page and refresh again, then you can see blog now has an arrow to indicate that there's something underneath it, and now there's an entry here for the sample contact us page. So it's really easy to move things around. It's just a matter of dragging and dropping. So if I didn't like that blog is in front of forums, I could do that, and now the order has been changed. So it's just a matter of dragging things around, dropping them, moving them until you're happy with them, and then saving it. So in this case, I've made a mess of the layout by doing that, but let's go ahead and remove that because we don't actually need that page. Now we'll save the menu, and if I go back to the home page, that has now been updated. So that's no longer visible, and we have the menu structure that we want. For this video, that's as far as I want to go, but hopefully that's given you a good introduction to how menus work on your Uncanny LP site.